Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Sir, who is honored by Allah, Islam has always taught us to respect our elders. Please forgive me. I've heard from some friends about your team's research on the RUH, the soul. That's really intriguing. I'd love to learn more and understand what the RUH actually is. What is it really? And why is it such a central theme in the Qur'an and in the creation of man?
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Sister Kathy, indeed, we need to discuss the RUH scientifically and deeply based on the verses of the Qur'an, Hadith Qudsi, and the sayings of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This study has been conducted for 39 years. It is not based on speculative or baseless assumptions, but on logical analysis and metaphysical inquiry, beyond the reach of ordinary disciplines.
From what I've read in various sources, like the works of Plato, Neoplatonists, Avicenna, or Ibn Sina, they describe the RUH as awareness or the function of the mind.
That's the old view. For thousands of years, philosophers like Plato, Ibn Sina, and Descartes saw the RUH as rational soul, active intellect, or a thinking substance, pure consciousness without form. In modern interpretations and contemporary neuroscience, the RUH has even been reduced to just a product of the brain or human intellectual potential. But that view is mistaken. The RUH is not consciousness, nor is it a function of the mind. The RUH is the subtle body of the baqa human, alive, eternal, and real. It has the same face as our physical body, extremely intelligent, honest, and never forgets. It has no gender, needs no food, drink, or sleep. The RUH comes from the most subtle spatial dimension called realm baqa, the true origin of human existence. Unlike consciousness, which is born and dies with the brain, the RUH is a living, soulful being who will be held accountable for all the deeds of the body in the afterlife. This is the correct definition of the RUH, a definition that reverses centuries of misunderstanding and opens the door to new truth through deep contemplation and timeless research.
So, does the term ruh, roh, differ from rohani, or soul?
No. RUH, roh, soul, or rohani all refer to the same thing. It is the subtle body of the human being, not physical, not blood, not flesh. It has the same face as our physical body, but lives in a subtle dimension, the realm of baqa. It was created by Allah in baqa.
Are there verses in the Qur'an that confirm this?
Certainly. Surah Al-Isra, 1785, states, وَيَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الرُّوحِ قُلِ الرُّوحُ مِنْ أَمْرِ رَبِّي وَمَا أُوتِيتُم مِنَ الْعِلْمِ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا. And they ask you, O Muhammad, about the soul, RUH. Say, the soul is of the affair of my Lord, and you have not been given of knowledge except a little.
So the RUH is directly from God, without the intermediary of angels.
Exactly. This verse affirms that the RUH is from the command of Allah, and it is breathed directly by Him. That little, in the perspective of Allah, is little indeed, but for humans it is vast. That's why we need to understand what that little really means, by looking into other verses.
How about Surah As-Sajdah, verse 9? Then he perfected him and breathed into him from his soul. What does the word perfected mean in this context?
This verse clearly states, it is through the RUH that man becomes perfect. Without the RUH, man is not called perfect. That's why we need to understand the RUH, because our perfection comes from it. Only humans were given the RUH. Only with the RUH is man called complete. This is reinforced in Surah Sad, verse 72, and Surah Al-Hijr, verse 29. When I have fashioned him completely, and breathed into him of my soul, fall down to him in prostration. Because man is a perfect being, Allah commanded the angels to bow, not to worship him.
Subhanallah. So the material that formed Baka man is similar to the jinn and devils?
Yes. That's why, if Baka man and his ruh are not sibgha, not solely refined, they tend to imitate negative behavior. Refer to Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 138. Sibghat Allahi wa man ahsanu min Allahi sibghatan wa nahnu lahu abidun. We take the color of Allah, sibghat Allahi, and who is better than Allah in coloring, and we are worshippers of him.
So the ruh must be sibgha, purified by Allah?
Yes. That's why humans only become noble after the ruh is breathed into them, and after being refined by sibgha. Look again at Surah Al-Baqarah, verses 30 through 36. The angels asked Al-Baqarah 30. أَتَجْعَلُ فِيهَا مَنْ يُفْسِدُ فِيهَا وَيَسْفِكُ الدِّمَاءَ وَنَحْنُ نُسَبِّحُ بِحَمْدِكَ وَنُقَدِّسُ لَكَ. Will you place upon it one who causes corruption therein, and sheds blood, while we glorify you with praise and declare your holiness?
Forgive me, sir, but how did the angels know that humans would cause corruption?
Because of the raw material. Every substance carries its nature. The components of Baka man carry some negative traits. But when Allah breathed his ruh into Adam, he became a highly intelligent being. Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 31 explains, وَعَلَّمَ آدَمَ الْأَسْمَاءَ كُلَّهَا. And he taught Adam the names, all of them. Then he showed them to the angels and said, Inform me of the names of these, if you are truthful.
And that's why the angels prostrated?
Yes. See verse 34. فَسَجَدُوا إِلَّا إِبْلِيسَ أَبَى وَاسْتَكْبَرَ وَكَانَ مِنَ الْكَافِرِينَ. And when we said to the angels, Prostrate before Adam, so they prostrated except for Iblis. He refused and was arrogant, and became of the disbelievers.
Why didn't Iblis prostrate?
That will be the topic of our next discussion. But remember this, Baka man, that is the real human. He is composed of these three, the ruh, the subtle Baka body, and the coarse physical body from earth. This earthly body was only created after Adam was sent down. Many misunderstand this. Some believe Adam was only created from earthly particles. That's just one aspect, the physical form.
So what is the Baka body made of?
From the fine elements of the Baka realm. Elements that are entirely different from those found on earth. Their fineness is incomparable. In fact, in high-dimensional physics, these can no longer be called particles, but rather pure energy entities. Even though Allah describes them as silk garments, gold bracelets, necklaces, they are not crafted like items here on earth. Do you think there are goldsmiths or tailors in paradise? Everything is instantaneous, created at Allah's command. So, the physical body of Adam here is different from the Baka human form.
MashaAllah. So the ruh is not just consciousness or a soul, but a real living being.
Yes. The ruh is a living, subtle, eternal entity. And it is the ruh that will be held accountable in the afterlife for all physical actions. Let's reflect on Surah An-Naba, Verse 38. The day when the RUH and the angels will stand in rows, they will not speak, except the one whom the most merciful permits, and he will say what is correct. This verse raises deep questions. Where does this event take place? Whose RUH is being referred to? Is the RUH different from the angels? And why are the RUH and angels standing in rows? Why are they silent?
Yes, that's fascinating. I really want to know more.
This event occurs at the Mahshar, one level below the realm of Baka, where every human will be judged by Allah. The RUH mentioned here is ours. And notice carefully, the verse says, the RUH and the angels, two separate entities. This confirms RUH is not an angel and angels are not RUH.
That's right. If angels were RUH, the verse would have simply said, when the RUH stands in rows. But it doesn't.
This verse expands our understanding of the RUH. It shows the RUH also receives divine revelation. Refer to Surah Al-Qadr, verse 4. And the angels and the RUH descend therein by permission of their Lord for every matter. And Surah Al-Shura, verse 52. And thus we have revealed to you a RUH of our command. These verses prove that revelation is also directed to the RUH, not just to angels. Allah speaks to the RUH, which means the RUH is extraordinarily intelligent, because every word from Allah is knowledge.
If we truly understood the RUH, we wouldn't be arrogant on this earth. Don't you think so?
Indeed. Why do people become arrogant, proud, greedy, worldly? It's deeply connected to Surah Al-Tawbah, verse 24, a warning from Allah that Satan, Iblis, and Jinn use these as traps. If that weren't the case, Allah wouldn't have revealed Surah Al-Sajda, verse 13. وَلَوْ شِئْنَا لَأَتَيْنَا كُلَّ نَفْسٍ هُدَاهَا وَلَكِنْ حَقَّ الْقَوْلُ مِنِّي لَأَمْلَأَنَّ جَهَنَّمَ مِنَ الْجِنَّةِ وَالنَّاسِ أَجْمَعِينَ. And if we had willed, we could have given every soul its guidance, but the word from me will come into effect. I will surely fill hell with jinn and humans all together. May this verse be a serious reminder that hell will truly be filled with jinn and mankind.
Thank you, sir. Dear viewers, I end our session on the RUH here. We'll continue in another episode for deeper exploration. And with the blessings of Allah's guidance and success, wabillahi tawfiq wal hidayah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.